Hey everybody, Motorpoet59 here. Just before all the COVID thing hit, I applied for a business license, started my own business, and I did that to offset some of the costs involved in my other YouTube channel. This one too, I guess, but there's not a lot involved in this channel. But my other channel, I do a lot of traveling and have had to purchase equipment and then whatever, all the costs, editing equipment, programs, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. Well, I started thinking about tax implications and how I could make all this work, and I didn't really know. I just knew I could write some of this stuff off. So I went and saw my tax guy, and he explained to me what I needed to do to create all the right pigeonholes to be able to write this off. I don't have to have a business. I don't have to have an operating business. I just need the business. As long as I have the business license, I can attach any expenses and any earnings to my personal income tax, and I would just have to have a Schedule C. Now, I also, my plan was to get involved in still photography, which I've been involved in for years, but I'm going to start selling some of it, doing some professional work, and see if I can't make some money doing that. But anyway, he started talking about how complicated it can get, where if you have something like I'm doing, each segment of that business would have to have its own accounts, and the YouTube videography would be one, and I was going to do some video DVDs stuff for rail fans, and then the still photography, and each one of those would have to have its own accounts that had money coming in or going out or whatever, and I would just attach a Schedule C to my 1040 just under my personal thing. The point of what I'm getting at here is how complicated our tax system is at the state and federal level, especially at the federal level. It's ridiculous. When he was explaining some of these things to me, I've been going to him for a long time, but it's always just been, my income from my job. This will be the first year that I file as a retired person, and my plan was, my house is paid off, so my plan was really just, I wasn't really going to need to itemize anymore. I was just going to tell this guy, hey, I'm going to go short form and I don't need your services anymore. But when I decided to do this, I'm going to need him to do some stuff for me again, and it looks like it's going to work out pretty well as far as what I'll get to write off to lessen my tax burden. But the IRS is such a complicated beast. It's bloated, it's grotesquely obese, and I would love to see it gone. I would love to see it no longer be needed in its current form. It would probably always have to be there, because what I would like to see is Steve Forbes pushed this way back when he was put his hat in the ring for president. I even remember it was back in the 80s maybe, and he proposed a 10-cent flat tax for personal income tax. It wouldn't apply to businesses, obviously. Businesses need tax relief here and there to create jobs and to continue to grow businesses, and you can't do that if you're just paying a 10% flat tax. Doesn't make it worth it to businesses to try to continue to create. But anyway, who cares about that? That's what I'm talking about. But a 10% personal income tax at the federal level, the state, I don't know. He didn't really discuss that. He was running for president, not governor. And but a 10% flat tax would be so awesome. It would simplify everything. Everybody pays 10%, no matter what. If you make $10 million, you pay 10%. If you make $10,000, you pay 10%. Everybody pays 10%. And the way he described it and broke it down, the federal deficit would cease to exist because everybody would be paying 10%. We would have a surplus every year. We've got the federal deficit today is quite a bit larger than it was back then when Forbes was running for president, but it could still be done. The national debt, that's never, there's nothing we can do about that. That's gone. It's out of control. 20 something trillion dollars. I don't even know. The planet will end. Humanity will die off, be extinct before that gets paid off. But I started thinking about that, and it's like people like my friend would have to count on businesses, and I know that a lot of his business comes from individuals like me. And while it wouldn't put him out of a job, it would certainly have a big effect on his income, on his business. And so it's kind of a, where do you come down on this? But in the end, as selfish as it sounds and as self-serving as it sounds, I always tend to come down on the side that is going to do the best for me long term. And that would be getting rid of the current tax structure and paying 10% flat tax. I wouldn't mind paying 10%. I don't actually pay, my effective tax rate is, over the last 20 years, has never exceeded 13%. By the time I got my returns and all that stuff, yada, 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 it's never been over 13%, and that was during the Clinton era. But 10%, it would be awesome. It would save some people a lot of money, and others it would cost. But that's the way of things, and it would help America's economy so much. It would be such a boon to the economy. But that's never going to happen. The Democrats nor the Republicans want to see that happen. The Republicans can ballyhoo all they want about tax cuts, but that's not really what they're talking about when they talk about tax cuts. And as big a proponent as I was of all the tax cuts that I've had from Reagan, from George H.W. Bush, and from President Trump, I've been a big proponent of those. But in the end, they're still just kind of balancing things out. They're not really changing my effective tax rate. And if I was paying a flat 10% tax that never changed, that would truly affect my effective tax rate. And it would, like I said, it would solve the federal deficit problems. It would take a while now, but it would do it. And but then again, I think about how many people would be affected by that. Business-wise, CPAs, the tens of thousands of people at the IRS that they wouldn't need anymore to pour over tax returns. I don't know. I don't want to see people lose their jobs, even government jobs, but the government is bloated and it is entirely inefficient. And I don't know, maybe losing those jobs and the tax rates changing would create more opportunity in the private sector. I don't know. But I don't know. I just wanted to pop off about the whole 10% thing. And what do you think? You think 10% flat tax would be a good idea? Or do you prefer your tax rate being whatever it ends up being after your CPA is done with your taxes? I like the 10% thing. Let me know in the comments below. Shoot me an email at motopoet59@gmail.com and click on the bell if you want to be notified of future content. And we will see you all later. Maybe at my tax guy's office.